How many people had copies?
As I understand it, the only copies that were made were those for the purposes of listening.
How many?
And that is the one item, the one copy.
One copy?
The one copy.
And that's destroyed?
That was the sensitive item that went to my office and then went straight back to head office.
So there's only one copy made, that's destroyed, but miraculously it's leaked. How did that happen?
Well, let me come to that in a moment.
No, well, that's the key to it.
I'm happy to deal with that right now. Neil, I do not... Believe me, I wish I knew. I wish I knew, because if I knew, I would be here telling you chapter and verse from the start to the finish. I do not know how this was leaked by the Liberals to other Liberals.
Well, hang on. This isn't about the Liberals.
Well, they circulated it. Neither does the Liberal Party. They don't know how this got out.
Hang on, you're telling me that there was only one copy made, it's all been destroyed, but it's leaked. There's only one copy of this getting around the world. It's in the Labor Party office. Hang on, it's in the Labor Party office somewhere, and it's leaked.
What I'm saying to you
Correct?
is that the copy of this. All the files, and there are separate files, there's all sorts of files, and I want to come back to that in a moment too, because as the statements make clear today, Mr. Bayou and Mr. Samaras were not the only people on this tape.
But this is beside the point.
No, it's not. It's very much to the point.
There's only one copy of this existing. It is leaked, and you're saying it's not Labor's fault.
All the copies, all the material from the tape recorder were deleted. Now, Neil, there's another matter here.
Daniel Andrews, they weren't, because it leaked.
They were deleted.
And it leaked from the Labor Party office.
Yeah, but it also lay around Moonee Valley for a whole weekend, Neil.
Somebody else has done it
down there. Well, Neil, believe me, if I knew...
Oh, Mr. Andrews.
If I knew, Neil, I would be telling you right now. I know, and frankly, I wish I did.
I understand that. Would you accept you still don't know what happened?
Well, no, I don't think anyone knows how this was leaked to the Liberal Party and how they then forwarded it on to other Liberals.
You don't know what happened, but you do know the tape was in the possession of several Labor Party people. They've listened to it, made a copy, say they've destroyed everything. The tape is leaked. But you don't know what happened.
They deleted it. They destroyed the tape recorder. That is the fact. How it is then finished up with the Liberal Party distributing it to other Liberal Party members, not even the Liberal Party know that, Neil. They're running an investigation. I don't know. Dennis Napthine doesn't know. Let me assure you, if I did, I would be here as I'm running through all the things I do know with you. I'd be only too happy to let you know. But there is another matter.
Yep.
The wrong call was made, Neil.
Mr. Samaras.
He should have returned... No, he's not, and I'll explain why.
Yep.
He should have returned the tape recorder. But his anger at having been recorded without his consent...
Yep.
Neil, he's not the only person on the tape, as his statement makes clear. There were a number of other people on the tape. Two shadow ministers, the Shadow Minister for Water and the Shadow Minister for Health. The Minister for Health was on the tape. The Premier, Dennis Napthine, was on the tape as well. What I know and what I've established is that the two Shadow Ministers were on the recorder, they were taped, and they had not provided their consent that they were taped. They had no idea. Now, I don't know what was said. The files were destroyed.
But that's not illegal.
Well... people can make their own judgments about whether that's an appropriate way to go. They were taped without their consent.
Okay.
And there's been and I can only you'd have to talk to the Premier and the journalist about whether they gave their consent to be taped as well.
But
what I'm saying is there are questions here.
This journalist isn't running for Premier of Victoria.
No, indeed,
you are.
indeed. But there are questions in this. I have done everything I possibly can. I take full responsibility for as best I can getting to the bottom of it. But in the questions that need to be answered in this whole affair, and it's a mess, there's no doubt about that, Neil, I fully accept that. But in those questions, this practice of taping journalists or taping people without their consent, I think it is, Neil. It's very much part of it.
I don't like it either, but you are running for Premier, not some age reporter.
And I do not attack journalists.
You
know that, Neil.
You haven't got answers, Mr. Andrews.
You know that, Neil. I'm not someone. I value the role of the media, and I'm not for a moment attacking the media. It's not a side issue at all.
Well, you haven't.
This whole mess starts with a official of the Labor Party making the wrong call because he had been inappropriately taped without his consent. He should have returned the tape, and believe me, Neil, I wish he had.
Do you accept there's a dirty trick here somewhere?
Well, look, the whole thing is a dirty mess. I'm more than happy to concede that. There's no doubt about that.
Do you accept that the tape and the only copy of the tape was in Labor Party possession?
No, well, look,
before it leaked.
All copies, all files, all material from the tape recorder were destroyed, and the tape recorder itself, with a pair of scissors, Mr. Samaras.
Okay. And what did he do with those copies once he did?
He deleted them.
But where did they sit? Who had access to them? How many people? In the Labor Party office, Mr. Andrews.
I understand that we can't provide answers to all of those questions.
Well,
Believe me,
where else does the finger point? I mean, you suggest maybe somebody came and got the tape recorder at
no, I'm not suggesting. It's just a matter of fact.
Well,
Neil,
where else does the finger point other than the Labor Party?
The truth of this is that none of us know, not the Liberal Party, not me, not Dennis Napthine. I wish I did. The conspiracy theories will always be more interesting than the truth. But Neil, the truth is this.
You don't know the truth.
The truth
Mr.
is this, Mister. The truth is this. We're all, Mister. The truth is, Neil, that the recorder was destroyed, its contents and all copies were destroyed. They were deleted. And I cannot explain to you, I wish I could,
Mr. Andrews,
how the thing finished
after they were circulated or sent to somebody who circulated them. That's what's happened.
Well,
they've been... first I'll give it to him to circulate, now I'll destroy it. Somebody's done that.
No, that's absolutely correct.
That is in the Labor Party office.
Yes, and the statements today, and I can confirm again for you today, Neil, that nobody in my office had any involvement whatsoever in the distribution of this material.
Okay. Do you we've got only a couple of minutes. Do you accept that this responsibility for this leak rests in the Labor Party office?
No, I don't. I do not accept that at all. No.
There's no other option.
Well, you may draw that conclusion.
Okay.
But I don't know. Neither does the Liberal Party how a tape of a former Liberal leader bagging half his Liberal colleagues made it into the public domain. I don't know that. If I can just say again, if I did, let me assure you, I would be telling you now, and I wish I did know.
Should the police be involved?
Well, the police are involved.
All right.
There's been a police investigation. It's ongoing.
And why are there no penalties for anybody involved in this?
Well, Neil, the journalist who taped Mr. Samaras without his consent, and at least two members of my shadow cabinet, and potentially the Premier and the Health Minister, together with the former Premier Ted Baillieu, she hasn't lost her job. I can tell you, Neil, Cosmos Samaras won't be losing his. I know Cosmos Samaras. He is a good and decent person who made the wrong call, and he will not be losing his job over this.
Do you still intend to sue somebody?
I am. This is with our lawyers, but you're no doubt about this, Neil. The claims made in The Age, the one I read out to you before, and others, are wrong.
Okay.
They were wrong on Friday, they were defamatory on Friday, and they are just the same today.
Do you accept that this has damaged you as a leader?
Look, what I accept and what I know, Neil, is that as I moved around my electorate and the community over the weekend, no one was talking to me about this. They were talking to me about the things that I would much prefer to be talking about. Hospitals and schools.
When did you find out about these recordings?
I found out about these recordings, that is to say, the Baillieu tape, when it was made public. That's when I found out about it.
Your own party didn't tell you what was going on?
Indeed.
Is that plausible deniability, Mr. Andrews?
Not at all. That's the fact.
Are you,
and whether it's convenient, with hindsight, the answer is yes.
Well, there's reason that these people shouldn't have their jobs anyway. They didn't come to you.
With hindsight, the answer is yes. I first heard this, and I'm not even entirely sure that I've listened to the entire Baillieu tape.
I mean the tape. When were you told they existed?
I became aware that my Chief of Staff had listened to the tape.
When?
On Friday last week. That's the fact. Whether that's convenient or not, that is the fact. And with all these things, you can always look back and perhaps think you might do things differently. I can't change
you haven't
that.
Handled it well, have you?
I can't change that. I can only accept full responsibility for trying to get to the bottom of this. That's what I've done, Neil, and I've fronted for it.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Your calls after 9.